Good morning, yo. So I'm just, first of all, well, good morning again. And my first question is, can everybody hear me this morning? Hey, Ren Skywalker, Vegan Sister, Mad Blender, The Onion Knight, Just Glowing Me. So today, wow, it's our last conversation before this election, and um, the discussion of politics. And I want to say a lot of this is due to the incredible encouragement and leadership and knowledge base that's been brought to the discussion by Brian Hernandez from the Onion Knight 5. And there's been a lot of passion in this room over the last few weekends, and I have no doubts that we are going to get some of that today. Just so you know, guys know what I'm drinking today. This is the most basic smoothie. This is bananas. I think I've got four bananas in here. I've got an apple. I've got some just fresh foraged chicory greens. It's so interesting because the chicory, when you blend the chicory, it ends up being almost more like yellow than green, which always looks a little strange to me. And then there's some fresh squeezed orange juice, and so that's what I'm going to be sipping on. And what I'd love to do for the format today, I don't want to talk at all. I don't want to say much at all. I really want to hear some final thoughts before Tuesday when it's going to be, the jig is going to be up. The jig is going to be up. Likely, uh, I'm going to go and vote, and usually on Tuesday it's convertible day. So two things are going to happen. One, we're going to do that challenge, Mad Blender. Me and Ethan are going to be sucking down 7 ounces of frozen bananas, and then um, thank God it's almost over. Absolutely, thank God it is almost over. So I'm gonna hear like some more details about those thoughts, and then we're also probably going to talk about what we did at the polls if that's going to happen. So that said, a couple of things that I did not include in my last update. Well, one thing, I didn't announce the fact that we were going to be doing the Mad Blender. We were going to be doing the banana ice cream challenge. Thanks for being tagged for that. But also, by virtue of starting a vegan business on the east side of Detroit, I realized that it gives me some leverage. So I walked into my local grocery store and I noted that they don't really have any. They have vegetables. Obviously, there are plenty of vegan options because they have vegetables, and they have a fairly decent produce sections, nothing to write home about, but they have a fairly decent produce section, which is more than you can say for a lot of small grocery stores. But I noticed that they had a lot of, and I believe it was like Morningstar brand, like veggie patties and this and that and the other thing. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Morningstar, but I looked at a lot of the packaging, and that stuff has dairy in it, it has eggs in it, it is not vegan. And so I spoke to the person who procures the groceries, and not only was he very open to, getting some Gardein brand, getting some Tofurkey, and you guys can shout out to me what some others are, and I'll likely be doing a video about it. But he got on the phone with the distributor while I was in the store and asked what they had. Turned out that they did have Tofurkey. He asked me like exactly what things I wanted, and he ordered them on the spot, and that was really, really awesome. So, Vegan Sister, you have a phone on your app called Is It Vegan? And you scan barcodes and it tells you if it's vegan. That is awesome. I think that's something that I want to look into. Maybe I'll take that to the store with me. So thank you. That's a great tip. That's something that's information that needs to be in a video on a vegan YouTube channel. Can we have a little bit less of the last time the last time controvertible snitch went to the bathroom and a little bit more about like where you can go to get apps on your phone to help you being you know what I'm saying? Yes, absolutely. Laughing out loud about it, but really, something's got to give. That's another thing that I think I'm going to start addressing a little bit after the election is over, is get back to a little bit like what's been going on in the vegan community. And I all of you are here, all of you wonderful content creators whose channels are just full of great information for people who are trying to just understand what it means to be a vegan, and some of the challenges that you might face and some of the joys that you might experience in your life just for being vegan. And I think it's time we got to get some of that happening again. I think the children done got bored with spreading the message, and now it's just devolved into nonsense. And I don't even want to name it as like people have called it that particular what is it, that particular five-letter word that I'm not a big fan of, because to me it's not that five. When I want that, I watch The Walking Dead. This to me is just foolishness. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. Um, I'm gonna say, Brian, there's no way that you're not gonna get on. Brian says, I've been on a lot with Reg. I'll only get on this time if everyone tells me. How about this, Brian? How about I'm gonna call out some names. Last week we did not get to hear from the Mad Blender. We did not get to hear from Vegan Sister. We did not get to hear from Just Glowing Me. So please, please, I would love it if you guys could just come on. I want to talk to you. I want to see your faces today, please. So if you guys could just go ahead and get yourselves in the queue, and we could talk about politics if you're over politics a little. Like I've starting to feel a little over politics. Does not mean that I'm not going to continue to be political, but I'm over, the mainstream politics that I've been having shoved down my throat for the last 6 months. Um, so hello, I like it. Vegan sister, you get nervous. Vegan sister, I loved your mukbang. I would talk to you just about that because you want to talk about that went deep on a lot of levels. So I would love to hear from you about that. Brian, you say it's not going to be pretty. Is it ever pretty when we're talking about, you know, when we're talking about what we're talking about? It can't be that pretty because it's a hot mess. And Ren Skywalker, I don't know that we've ever met in person, but think of this as a radio call-in show. Everyone is welcome to call in and give their opinion. And I love meeting new people. And if you go off the rails, then we go off the rails together. We'll discover a new place off them rails. Um, so please, I see. Hey, Kearney is here. Yeah, we got to hear from everyone. Kearney, I definitely one thing that I was particularly interested in was getting some perspective from people who weren't in the US, but what you're getting, what you're seeing about this election and how you are feeling about that. Oh, please, Ren Skywalker. Ren Skywalker says, I don't really think I can talk about the election because I don't live in the US. I particularly mentioned that I was interested last week, would be interested this week in hearing from people who were not in the US to get your perspectives on what you feel is happening. Again, I don't want to be so arrogant. I don't want to be so arrogant to think that like people in other parts of the world even care about what's going on in the US, but I would love to hear even that. Yeah, and Jordan's here. Jordan, I don't know if you've ever guessed it on a live stream, but I really would love to hear. And maybe we'll limit folks today. I'll try to keep my eye out and we'll limit it maybe to 5 minutes so that everybody, I really just want to, I want to have a lineup today and just get a lot of opinions and really have a discussion that's not just happening in the chat, but I really want to have your faces and hear your voices if that's possible. And if you don't want to show your face, I think you can turn your camera off and just have your mic on. But I'd really love to have this be more of a conversation than me just reading along because I can't hardly even see anyway. So we got a lot of people in this room and no one in line to guess. Come on. I'm gonna call people out. Just glowing me. Come on, get up here. I'm gonna call you out. Because I don't think I've heard, I don't think we've seen you in the broadcast for quite a while. Maybe you were in the first week or the second week, but I'd really love to. Come on, who's coming up? Hey, Plant Style. So is my job today to coax you all into jumping on with me? Or is there anything you'd like me to just rattle on about? Yeah, definitely interested in hearing that. Jordan, the instrumental said, I live in the UK. I see the US election as a big circus show. Come on, get on. Come on, guests. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what other people are saying, um, and your general impressions about, hey, Michelle K. So I think we have a whole family on here now. Michelle, I don't think we've ever met. I think we've exchanged a fair number of emails, more than one for sure. Um, Mostly, I think with me like hunting down Brian, but I'd love to have a chance to have you guests today. There's Jack making noise in the background. I hope that won't be too much of a disturbance to everyone. I'm guessing at this point that everyone can hear me. So it's interesting last week. I actually sat in on a few other people's broadcasts. I got to sit in on Hit Like a Girl's broadcast. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hit Like a Girl. It was on Halloween, so it was some silliness and it was fun. Hit Like a Girl was dressed up like Freely the Banana Girl. Yeah, it really is hilarious, right? It really is hilarious, right? So it was just nice to get to meet someone new. And I sat in on Anna Scanlon, I believe, Anna in Wonderland, and sat in on a live stream and, saw how Anna was getting dragged into some of this drama. And I just want to say, come on. I don't want to say there are no victims, there are only volunteers, but sometimes we do volunteer for the drama that we find ourselves in. Right now, we got a guest waiting to come on. This is Brian, y'all, from the Onion Night. Really excited to hear some, last thoughts from Brian on the upcoming election. Now I've clicked we got Plant Style in the queue. That's great. Come on, y'all, get in the queue. Like I said, I'd love to hear from everyone, and don't be shy. Come on, it's just me. I'll take good care of you. You're in good hands. I'll be gentle with you. Um, it's not like what you've seen on some other Oh, wait, Brian, what happened? I tried to bring you on. We're having some issues with the connection, Brian. I don't know if it's not the first time it happened. It happened with Just Glowing Me, and then I think Just Glowing Me got off and got back on and then tried again, and it all worked out. That is Oh, stop, stop. It's not the first time it happened. It happened with Just Glowing Me and choo, choo, choo. All right, so we're gonna hear from Brian in just a moment. In the meantime, let's bring on Plant Style. Okay, it says a guest is trying to join. Please wait. Okay, let me cancel that. Let me see. Drop that. Let me see this. What I really need is a tech person in the. Oh, there we go. Hey, Brian.
Hey, everyone.
So one thing that I should do maybe is plug my headphones in. Talk now, Brian.
Hello?
Oh, okay, good, good. I didn't have my headphones plugged in. I was wondering why you were so quiet. So welcome. Here we are, just
Thank you.
2 days before the election, and
This is gonna be a shit show.
you feeling
This
on
is,
fire? You feeling hot fire? You feeling hot fire, Brian?
yeah, I am, to be
Come
honest.
on, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of a little truth, a little passion. I'm not scared of it.
I called this way back, uh, probably a month called the election for Trump, and I said that I hoped that I was wrong. Um, and I still don't think I'm wrong. I still think I'm right. And, I'm so fucking mad about it. So, what's gonna happen is, if I'm right, there will be all kinds of anger all across the country about who's to blame. So I wanted to talk a little bit about who's to blame.
Come on. And when you say who's to blame, you're projecting you're projecting Donald Trump is going to get elected.
That was my that was my prediction in voting vegan part 2. Yeah.
Come on, let's talk about it.
Okay. So first up, uh, everyone is going to blame third-party voters.
Mhm.
Bullshit. Third-party voters are blocking votes for Trump on the same level that they're blocking votes for Clinton.
Mhm.
This election's tied up for a reason. It's tied up because people don't like Hillary Clinton. I even showed in one of my latest videos how someone was saying that, hey, I'm going to vote Clifton Roberts, even though I like Trump's policies better. So be thankful for third parties because they're also blocking votes from Trump. And we live in a freaking democracy where we cannot just have two parties just rule over everything. There has to be other options. So anyone that tells you that third party voters are to blame for a Donald Trump presidency is full of shit.
Mhm.
Okay?
Mhm.
Now, people who have refused to vote. I want to talk about people who are refusing to vote, specifically in the Democratic primary when it was Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Now, whew, there are a lot of people that have told me that they don't, and I'll borrow a phrase from you, they don't get down with the system, or what is it that you say?
I don't mess with the state.
I don't mess with the state.
And when I'm not on the show and trying to keep it family friendly, I use another word.
Right, right. So the problem with that is that everyone says that when they feel safe, but then when they don't feel safe, suddenly they start panicking. I've got a lot of people now saying, "Oh, well, I didn't vote in the primary, but I'm going to vote in the general election." Okay, you don't fight people like Donald Trump in a general election. You fight them in the primary. Where were you guys when Bernie Sanders was running and needed your support? Bernie Sanders would have beat Trump by 18%. Instead, Clinton won, who was tying with people like Trump and Ted Cruz or losing by 1%. Where were you guys? That's all I'm going to say. Next, Barack Obama. Barack Obama is partly responsible for Trump becoming the president, if I'm correct. And again, I hope that I'm not. This guy has not learned in 8 years that Republicans don't want to be his friend, and he won't stop appointing Republicans to positions of power. James just pulled this crap with the emails. He just pulled that crap. Guess who James Comey was appointed the head of the FBI by? Barack Obama. Because he wants to play ball with Republicans. So after his announcement of that email scandal, she was ahead by 6. Prior to that, she dropped 4 points. Now she's only ahead by 2. That is a statistical tie. Thank you, Obama. I've never actually made that joke, but I'm not joking now. Thank you. Thank you, Obama, for that great FBI pick. Whew, okay. Primary voters. Those numbers, again, weren't a secret. If you were concerned about beating Donald Trump, you'd been voting for Bernie Sanders. You weren't concerned about beating Donald Trump. You're concerned about electing Hillary Clinton to be the president for whatever reason. Okay, but numbers don't lie. Use your brain. Use your brain and turn off the TV. You're listening to people like Nate Silver, who told you that Donald Trump wouldn't be the winner of the Republican primary. He was wrong. Nate Silver said that there's no way that Trump. He actually said that there's no way that they wouldn't be tied up in November. We are 2 days before the election, and they are in a statistical tie.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Silver, maybe I should have your job. Next, Trump voters. Duh. If you really think a guy with a 4th grade vocabulary and multiple bankruptcies has a single idea in his head at all about how to lead a country, you're a fucking idiot. And then lastly, Hillary Clinton is responsible for Donald Trump becoming president. Hillary Clinton has had every opportunity in the world to win this election. It is so clear that Americans are done with corruption, and she has refused, just outright refused to give it up. That is her choice. Hillary Clinton should not need a private email server to hide pay for play. She just should be doing political favors for anyone at all. Again, that's her choice. She's chosen to do all this stuff. And everyone that voted for her, knowing this, and gave the Republicans and Donald Trump all the ammunition that they would need to defeat her, Hillary Clinton and everyone that supported Hillary Clinton in the primary, you are responsible for a Donald Trump presidency. You walked away from Bernie Sanders, who would have won by 18%. Don't let anyone tell you that third-party voters are responsible. That is bullshit.
So Brian, just, kind of a final note. I've been, just doing some looking around here and there. Oh, Brian, you're gone. Wow, he dropped the mic. Oh shit. Okay, so cool. Brian, I don't know if that was intentional, but I, appreciate getting that feedback from you. Right now, we got Plant Style waiting in the queue. Let's hear from Plant Style. It's 2 days before the election. We have Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in a statistical tie. We've got our libertarian candidate maybe getting close to that 5% to get that federal campaign support for the Libertarian Party. I think we've got Jill Stein floating somewhere under 2%. So things not looking very good for the Green Party, even in terms of, getting that, having that additional federal support in their campaign moving forward next year, and then also being able having that place on. I think there's automatically get a spot on the ballot. So So all that stuff said, Plant Style, what's going on?
Oh wow, it's just every second that ticks by it gets more and more tense, and I feel myself getting more and more anxious. This is just, I didn't think it was going to be this close, and I don't think anybody did. And I totally feel what, hold on a second, Theo, I don't have a lot of time and we got to go. I have to be quick about this because I don't have that much time. I have to leave. But I just wanted to say, like, I totally feel what he was saying. Um, I don't know exactly if he was going for Trump or not, but what he was just saying in that moment about it not being a third party issue and the people who weren't there, the primaries aren't about like picking a president. It's about picking the best candidates for the position running. And we had that. He's right. He's totally right. We had that opportunity to at least put Bernie Sanders in the second position rather than, him, or even on the Republican side, picking somebody better. But it ended up being him, and it's so close because they're both so scandalous and sketchy. Like, nobody knows what to do, and I totally understand what he was saying. But as far as who I'm going to choose, I think you already know because I talked about it and why. And what he's saying, it definitely makes me consider what she's done. But at the same time, I don't want to see him. We have to do something now. Like, we missed our opportunity, but we still have an opportunity now. I don't feel like it's too late to fix it around. And I feel like, she's a little bit more, like he said, I don't know if she'll do deals with anyone, but I feel like she'll at least do some deals with us because, we are the people. If we come together on this issue, we still have some leeway. But we are freaking lazy. We don't do shit. We don't vote. We just kind of go about our daily lives and expect things to get better, by just electing a president. And it's not just about the president. It's about the whole system. It's about the House, senators, your local, party leaders. You have to do all of that. You have to know who is surrounding you, because if you don't, then you're just going to set yourself up for disaster. The system does not want us to vote. It doesn't. And that's why they give us stupid television. They give us all these apps and distractions and contraptions to keep us docile and distracted. That's what they've done in the Roman times. Any political system has their strategies for distracting the people. Give them bread, give them entertainment, that's how it works. So as long as people don't pay attention or think and believe that the system doesn't work, then you are letting them win. You are letting them have power over you. But as long as you fight back and vote with your dollar, vote with your political ballot, then you at least are still taking action. You're not just sitting around doing nothing. You can't complain if you're doing nothing. But that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for having me on. I wanted to guess a little bit longer. I know you probably have some more questions. Hopefully some other people will come on here because I really think we should be talking about this stuff, not about drama, not about bullshit, not about celebrities, fucking real shit. This is real. We have literally less than 2 days, like it's the clock is ticking. we gotta figure out what we're gonna do. So I hope we all make the right decision because literally I don't know where I could go. I need to leave the country because it's not going to be pretty. I don't think there's going to be anywhere safe to go anymore. Shit's going to just happen. Words are going to be said. Bombs are going to be thrown, and it's going to be fucking bloodbath.
Yeah.
I don't want to see what happens.
What do you mean bloodbath?
It's scary. It's scary.
It's scary. It's scary.
Theo, we gotta go. But I gotta go because the sitter's out there. Theo, turn off the TV. I would love to see you again next Sunday. And hopefully we're all still here and not blown to smithereens by Sunday.
Yeah, we could definitely, we'll definitely have a recap discussion next week. We may have, David Cobb back as well. But Plant Style, it's great to have you. I love to hear your perspective. Whatever happens.
I love what you're doing every Sunday. You just keep it up.
Thank you so much. All right.
Okay. Bye.
Bye now. All right. So there's Plant Style offering another perspective on this upcoming election. imagining what will happen if we wake up on Wednesday and Donald Trump is president of the United States. It's not a given, but it's a distinct possibility. So I'd love to hear from folks. What are your thoughts? Waking up on Wednesday, Donald Trump is president. Get in the queue so we can hear your thoughts about this issue. I have to say, I remember when it was George Bush and oh my goodness, um, George Bush and Al Gore and that horrible, horrible nightmare of an election and the growing realization that we all had that George Bush was going to be president. And I'm not going to say, we were fine, that nothing happened. We had 9/11 and we had George Bush as president when 9/11 occurred, when the, World Trade Tower was attacked. And we had George Bush leading us into an horrendous, war in search of those weapons of mass destruction. The lies, the deceitfulness, the incompetence, and getting to see those criminals on trial and nothing happening because of it. But we did make it out of that situation. We did. There was life after George Bush. Um, can we say the same is true of Donald Trump? We might even compare a Donald Trump presidency to a George Bush presidency. Are there connections there? Um, so I think we'll see a Florida 2000 repeat. I hear that, Vegan Sister. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Um, Jordan says, Reg, I can't guess, but I love you with all of my heart. You are a wonderful person, and I love the show. And the feeling is mutual, Jordan. Thank you so much for your support and continuing to be a viewer. So let's see who's going to get in the queue. Don't leave me here vamping, y'all. This format depends on your participation. Okay. Okay, Brian. Brian says I had to calm down. I'm good. You're a very, very, very passionate human being, Brian, and I appreciate you and love you exactly the way you are. And if you want to jump back on, feel free. I'd love to hear from some others of you. Come on, where are my peeps? Where are my reliable friends here? Trying to think of some other things. Another. There was a suggestion that so much focus goes in, so much effort and energy goes into these, national elections. And the question is also, what are people doing on a local level? How are people connecting to their local politicians to have impact on their communities? So that's something else if people have thoughts about that. Right now, we're bringing Brian back, who's, jumped in a cold shower for a minute, and now hopefully we're going to get him back with some more. Hey, Brian. Hi.
Sorry, I had to get a drink, get some air. What's up?
All right. So I think one thing that I wanted to ask you about are your thoughts on just the performance of the Green Party versus the performance of the Libertarian Party, which is, we've seen participation from those parties, but maybe not enough, or might it be enough that we can see the growth of these parties that will that people will start taking these parties seriously and stop thinking of them as the thing that stupid people do, which is really sad, right? In a country where, your vote that's it, right? That's the one thing you get to exercise your, exercise your rights as the member of a democracy is to vote for who you want to vote for.
Right.
I think I was watching a show and they actually had a clip that went viral of a young man whose mother was basically threatening to throw him out of the house if he didn't vote for Hillary Clinton.
Well,
And you have that kind of nonsense happening, that kind of, and I've talked about, the role of the family as an, ideological apparatus. And so even if people are thinking to break out of this mold, there's going to be someone who's got a position of power who's going to be able to influence that voter and send them back down the same path.
yeah, I think that the polling is, I think they're underestimating Stein. I think that I think she might actually get her 5%. Um, I think that a lot of the polling is geared to, how should I say it? A lot of the polling is geared to support a two-party system. So I think they're this year particularly, because this isn't a normal election, they're underestimating third parties. So I think the Green Party has a good shot at getting 5%. I don't know for certain. The Libertarians started at like 12%, and then Gary Johnson just wouldn't stop talking, and every time he talked, he'd lose like 3% for every statement that he made. So they're, what are they, like 6? Not even that. They're maybe 5 or 4% right now. I mean, you might get 2 parties. You might get 2 parties that get 5%. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, do you watch Fish Tank? Do you ever catch Fish Tank?
Fish Tank? No.
They're sort of like Young Turks, kind of like an Onion Knight, independent news channel. I don't know if I think they're on YouTube. They must be on YouTube, but they did a story just talking about the third party phenomenon and how people are just so opposed, even though people who have this strong aversion to the two dominant parties, but will just continue to go that route. It's everything, they said everything that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks, everything that you've been saying for the last 6 months.
Who did they call the election for?
They had Hillary Clinton maybe 2 or 3 points ahead of maybe 2 or 3 points ahead of Donald Trump. I don't think they were really making a call. I think the focus of the piece was on Jill Stein. I think they were green leaning. Yeah, I think a lot of it was they were really lamenting the fact that it used to be, in terms of the news, that it was about journalism, and that every now and then someone would apologetically get on the air or write a piece and really emphasize the fact that this was simply opinion, and there was almost an embarrassment to present an opinion piece as part of as part of the news, right, through a news platform. And now it's all opinion. They were saying that the news these days is all opinion.
Yeah, if you gave me the option, I would totally vote for a bill that would have to put on the screen somewhere opinion when people are talking on mainstream media.
Right.
There should be something that tells people that, hey, this I do have a bias. I'm not just reporting facts.
Right.
That should be clear to people. But
right.
I think with the internet, I don't think Americans utilize the internet in the the most effective ways that they can. If everyone on the internet just decided, hey, you know what, we know that they're lying on TV. So every single person on the internet is going to vote for a third party and just turn off the TV. like we would just get a third party president. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't
Right. That's a beautiful, that's a
have
beautiful,
this.
that's a beautiful fantasy. And who knows, because we have a generation that's coming along. In 4 years, we'll have this generation that really is getting their, not just their news, but really is, um, uh, the internet is becoming people's platform of choice for their entertainment, for their news, for their networking. And I wouldn't be surprised in 4 years if most most people who are voting for the first time were getting all of their information from the internet. And who knows in
That's
years
why,
to come.
yeah, that's why I'm saying that the voting third party is really important because that's what everyone should be doing in this election. So here, like it's crazy. Like they have the two least popular candidates of all time, so everyone hates them, right?
Hmm.
Why not just go for the if everyone hates the two that you're presented with, there's third parties. Why aren't we just voting for them? Why isn't Joe Stein at 40%? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's it's insane.
Last week we talked about, the article, Why Vote Third Party, and, really outlines very beautifully that strategy that the, dominant culture uses to ensure that those uh, those those dominant candidates, right? Those oh my goodness, those candidates that represent the system, right? That support the system are always going to be elected. I'm just noticing here we got Big Screen Bird from St. Croix in the queue to guest, and we got about
Let me
15
jump off
minutes
so you
left.
can jump on.
So Brian,
Yeah.
I as far as I'm concerned, you can keep jumping off and jumping back, but I do want to let's imagine that you're sitting in the seat next to me, and we're going to
Oh,
hear
okay.
from we'll hear from Big Screen Bird, and then we'll see if you have any final words. As far as I'm concerned, you know, uh, this is your ball game, and this is the last day of the last day of the series. And so I really want to hear as much from you as possible. But let's have you drop off for
Okay.
just a moment and have Big Screen Bird come on. Don't go anywhere, Brian. So Brian talking about envisioning a world where people are getting their information from more reliable sources, and having the impact of that be that we get some people voting for third parties. So now we got Big Screen Bird. Big Screen Bird,
Reggie, what's
we
up?
I'm so good. I have only been hearing about you. I think one of your biggest fans is someone that I'm a big fan of, Try Vegan.
Yep.
Um, uh, I know that you are a regular streamer. Do you also
Yep.
have a channel?
Yeah, my YouTube channel is also my name, Big Screen Bird. Um,
Okay.
and I do a lot of cooking videos, demonstrations, scuba videos, all kind of just random stuff.
Well, welcome.
Thank you so much.
So you're coming to us from St. Croix?
St. Croix in the Virgin
Is that the
Islands.
Virgin Islands? Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
All the way
Um,
from here.
so I'm guessing it's beautiful there, that you're not suffering from the cold that we're suffering from in Michigan right now.
No.
Things aren't too bad. Things aren't too bad in Michigan, but it's getting there. So do you want to talk about what are your thoughts on the election? What are
My
your thoughts
initial
on
thought is it's just very funny. It's the whole thing is just stupid. First of all, it's basically, do you choose an idiot or do you choose an idiot? That's kind of where I'm at. It's neither candidate is a good choice at all.
Mhm.
And just to set the record clear, I don't vote, and I'm not voting this year.
Okay.
I am from Texas, so that's where I'm
Okay.
originally from. And being that Texas is such a deeply red state, basically, and I know people are going to fight me on this, but basically my vote doesn't count in Texas. If I lived in a swing state, I would 100% vote every single time, no matter what. But being from Texas, and since I'm here in the Virgin Islands, I have to vote through Texas. So kind of sucks. But you know, it's they're both idiots, and I was looking at the chat. Shirley Clinton is a lesser too. I agree with that. If I had to vote, I had a gun to my head, I would vote Hillary Clinton. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that she's done or said, but I cannot see Trump running this. Period. End of story. You know, I don't see that. I don't see he has a heart for the people. He doesn't. He has a heart for himself, and that's it.
And you're of the mindset that voting for a third party candidate is not an option in this election?
I mean, I think it's an option, but our political system is not set up for a three-party system. It's either Democrat or Republican. Unless you go way, way back, you've never had anybody but a Democrat or Republican, you know. So it's just one of those things. I wish more people were like you and like the viewers that are in the audience, that were level-headed and logical and can actually go through this in a rational way. But there's just so many people that are either diehard Republican or diehard Democrat that their blinders are like this and they don't see anything else, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things that it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, basically, you know.
Mm-hmm. So is your being in the Virgin Islands anything to do with not wanting to be on the U.S. on the continent? If it happens, you want to be a safe distance away in case it happens.
Well, I moved down here in January.
Okay.
Me and my wife moved. We came here last October for vacation, and absolutely fell in love with the island. And 3 months later we moved down here. So that's, I mean, a lot of people say that, but it's really not the case at all. We just love this lifestyle, and that's pretty much why we moved down here. The weather, it's 84 degrees outside with a nice breeze. I mean, there's nothing else more that anybody could want, honestly.
You got me frozen faced here because I'm trying to hide my jealousy.
Yeah.
Did you notice I changed shade? My shade changed a little bit. You can't tell.
Yeah, you're a little more pale. Yeah.
I just was like, what? 80 what?
84. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well. So any last thoughts? I don't think we have any guests up there, but I think we had Mad Blender up for a second who wanted to say something. Okay. I'd love to hear. So. But before you go, do you have anything that you'd like to just share with the audience? I mean, you've said some really kind things about the group and about the thoughtfulness in this space, and I
Right.
agree with you 100%. That's why I continue to do this. But is there anything else that you'd like to lay on us?
Actually, there is.
About this. Go ahead.
Well, it's not about the election. It's about the guest. It's about the guest that was there last week. The guy that was from Texas, and he was
David Cobb.
Yeah,
David Cobb.
It's a tall order to make him a vegan. Listen, dude. I was yelling in the computer screen. I am from Texas. I'm from Amarillo, Texas, where there is so many cows. There is one person. There's usually 20,000 cows per person. That's how many cows that we had in that area. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. We're talking cattle country of the whole world. So I know if I can go vegan, and I ate meat. I've been vegan for over almost a year and a half now, completely vegan. And I know if I can go vegan, there ain't no reason why anybody else can't. Because I eat meat, sausage and bacon in the morning, and then like ham sandwiches, and then meat steaks at night. I mean, I ate so much meat. Looking back at it, I was just like, it makes me disgusting, or it makes me disgusted. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was crazy, and for that guy to sit there and try to say it's because he's from Texas, I'm like, bullshit, man. That's just an excuse that you have in your mind that you can't make a connection to why you're murdering and killing animals or being a part of that.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
I'm with you, and I have no. I wasn't kidding when I said the pressure was on. You
yeah,
know, uh, certainly knowing, having a direct connection to David, um, creates a space for that to happen because a lot of
right,
times it's when you have like that one person that you can't get away from
yeah,
who's reminding you. And I think it's also um, it's in the best interest. It's in his best interest,
yeah. It really is.
is as a member of the Green Party to put his money where his mouth is,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
to put the his values, really, let the way that he's behaving,
Yeah,
um, be a demonstration of his values, and we know, as if we're talking about a green party that's concerned with the environment, and we know the impact of the animal commodities industry on the environment. So absolutely, you're absolutely right here.
I'm gonna close with this because I see two guests in there.
Okay, come on.
I would have been a lot better off if he would have just said, you know what, guys, I'm just not ready to go vegan. I got things in my life, and it's not going that. But to cop out and say just because you're from Texas,
From Texas,
I was,
right?
I was like, get out of here, man. There ain't no reason
Okay.
for that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna forward that message, so I'm gonna make sure he hears that. Thank you so much, Big Screen Bird. So
Reggie,
nice
thank
to
you.
meet you. I hope
Yes,
to
sir.
see you
Yep.
again. All
I'll
right,
see
man.
you next Sunday, man.
All right, man.
All right, thank you
Peace.
so much. You
All
have a
right.
good.
As Big Screen Bird, y'all. Okay, so let's quit. Let's get our Mad Blender in, and then we're gonna hear from from Brian. Hey,
Hey, what's up?
so much. First of all, I want to thank you so much for supporting the campaign.
Absolutely. I think what you guys do is awesome. You and Ethan are really great. I think you guys do so much good in your community. So,
Well, you might be seeing us because we're thinking about doing a road trip.
road
Across,
trip.
yeah, we're thinking about doing a road trip to Brooklyn. I got to go back to help out with some things with the theater company, and I was thinking about bringing Ethan along because he's, really apprenticing and learning, is specifically about the theater work that I do. And so I thought he would learn. It would be great for him to be part of. We're going to be auditioning some actors, and I'm going to be developing a new piece for him to get to see that. And I thought if we're driving, you know,
Absolutely.
we're going to be, it's an extra hour on the trip, what have you. Anyway, I don't want to spend the whole time talking about what I'm going to do. I want to hear from you. What do you got to say?
Okay. Well, first, let me just say, if you are in the area, let me know. I would love to meet up with you guys.
Okay.
Um, And okay, so really quickly, because I know we don't have time, and Brian wants to say something too. So I just wanted to say that because I was just chatting with someone in the queue, and I am not delusional. I know that there's no chance that a third party has a chance of becoming president. What I do think, though, is that the more people that vote third party, the more influence that has on the Democrats and the Republicans to kind of alter their platform. Not to mention, yeah, like you were talking about the Libertarians and the Green Party. The Libertarians look like they have a shot at making that 5% threshold. And, you know, the more votes for a third party makes it more legitimate. And what pisses me off more than anything is that the media it only covers the Democrats and the Republicans. Like, unless you listen to other besides what's on the TV, pretty much all I listen to is Democracy Now. But unless you listen to something like that, like I would have no idea that third party candidates were even involved in the election. So, and I feel like if more Americans knew about third parties, they would be vote. Most people don't even know that's an option, and that's what's so frustrating. I wish more people would become educated because I wasn't like it wasn't until recently that I even became interested in politics, and I think most people are so frustrated with the political system in general that they just don't give a crap. You know what I mean? That they just have no desire to learn about it or educate themselves because it's so corrupt and because they see that we're stuck in this two-party system and don't realize that there is any other option. So I just, it's so frustrating. So I have made up my mind. It was iffy there for a while, but I will be voting third party.
Mhm.
And, and basically just to, even just to mention briefly the John Ubersachs article that you had, talked about the other day,
Mhm.
just that, you know, that we, that the system is designed to kind of have the Democrats and the Republicans have candidates that absolutely divide people, and these horrible candidates that we hate that make us think that we have to vote one way or the other and just like split people apart. I don't even know if I just made sense when I said that, but
Oh yeah.
and finally, one thing else I want to say is at the end of that article, what I thought was such an awesome idea is that if you have this idea that voting third party is going to split the vote or is a wasted vote, find a friend that, like, for instance, my boyfriend is Republican. And I am a Democrat. So we are both going to vote third party. Therefore, it offsets. It's kind of like you make a pact and it kind of, yes, it crosses each other out. So we are both going to vote third party. Therefore, it's not like a wasted vote. So find someone else to make a pact like that with. I thought that was such a novel, good idea. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, and that was something that we didn't get to. We didn't get to that in the conversation last week. So thank you so much for bringing that back in. For those of you who aren't sure what Mad Blender is talking about, we're talking about the John Ubersachs article that we read and was the point of discussion for last week. Why vote third party? I'll be including a link to that in the description for this video once it's up and live on YouTube. All right.
Woo.
So we're gonna let you go, and we're gonna
Yep.
see.
Thanks for having me, Reg.
Oh,
It's
you're
always a
welcome.
pleasure.
Absolutely. We'll see you next week. Hopefully,
Absolutely. I'll be there.
if we're still here, right? Okay.
Oh, you'll be here.
All right.
All right. I'll see you.
Bye now. All right. So it's noon now, but I think there's always time for some closing remarks, and I think in honor of the day and that this is our last weekend before election. This is the last live stream for me before the election. I can't think of any better way to go out than with some words from you. But Brian,
Yes.
I'm gonna rein you in a little bit
Okay.
because I'd love for you to just. But this we're gonna close out after this, so I would love for us to go out not with some crap, but like some thoughts for how to move through the next 2 days. What is
All right.
something grounding? Can you tell us something that can help ground us in all of this?
What do you mean? Elaborate.
Well, just because now there's just so many questions, so many options, so many emotions.
Hmm.
But the reality is, we're going to wake up on Wednesday, we're going to have a new president, and we're still going to have work to do.
Okay. Yeah.
What are your
Um.
thoughts on that? On the
Let's.
reality,
I want to.
the
Yeah.
reality.
I want to end on some optimism and, like Reg says, reality. Okay. So, one of two things is going to happen. Hillary Clinton's going to be the president. First, start with if Hillary Clinton wins. Okay. So if Hillary Clinton wins, um, it will very likely be a very close race, and she'll like barely win. There's some people that are saying that she's going to win in a landslide. I don't think that that's the case, but again, I could be wrong. If she wins in a landslide, that's even worse for us, because if she wins in a landslide, she's going to think that, oh, look, everyone voted for me, and I was correct in going to the right and doing more right wing stuff. If she
So she'll have a
barely wins,
mandate.
right? Yeah, if she wins in a landslide, she's gonna think, oh, I'm right, and people like me, and I'm gonna continue to essentially be a Republican. If she barely wins, that will be a wake up call to her, and she's going to and she's going to be scared that she won't win in 2020, and she's going to go way further to the left, and she's going to be talking about the things that we want her to talk about. And we'll have to fight Hillary Clinton on everything from single payer health care, fracking, to the TPP, to everything. Fight her on everything. Either way.
Yes.
But if she just barely wins, then it'll be better for us. Now, if Donald Trump wins, that's good for third parties, because it's going to validate that the Democrats are done. They're fucking done, and people will, if Hillary Clinton loses, that will be a blow so massive to the Democrats that everyone will lose faith, and third parties will actually start having a better chance, and we'll have a better chance in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's not necessarily true. Let me go back. Even if she does win, they'll still have a good chance in 2020, because they're gonna eat her up for 4 years on all the corruption and the Podesta emails and the WikiLeaks emails. They're going to beat her up, and the Republicans are going to come with a really strong candidate, but I think also third parties will also come with a really strong candidate. So third parties, I think, are in good shape either way. Probably the best shape that they've been in, just because of what's going on in America. Third parties are going to be a lot more viable in 2020 either way. So let me first say that. But going back to if Trump wins, the Democrats are going to finally have that wake-up call that tells them, holy shit, people don't like us, and we've lost this election, and we've lost all our power. Then you're going to see a huge swell on the left, because if Hillary Clinton wins, everyone that voted for Hillary Clinton in the primary is going to go, oh, see, I told you she was going to win, so it was good to do right-wing stuff, ha 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 ha. But if she loses, all those people will flip, and they'll be like, no, we got to go to the left, we have to stop climate change, we have to stop the TPP. Everyone's going to suddenly be riding Bernie Sanders' dick, okay? Then we have to count, and that will be nightmarish for sure. But everyone on the left will be much more unified, because that guy's the president. So we're gonna have not just going to have people that are voting third party, but you're gonna have all the Democrats jump on board to fight Donald Trump, and that the left will become far more unified. So it's not all bad, is what I'm saying. Even if he does win, it's not all bad. And it will take, and after 4 years of seeing this guy screw up, if he doesn't just immediately get impeached, where even the Democrats will have a much more clean candidate. Even though I don't think that you should vote Democrat in 2020, don't do it. Don't trust them. Vote third party in 2022. But yeah, there'll be if Donald Trump actually becomes a president, everyone on the left will become much more unified because of it. So there is some optimism, even if he is. And what I'll finally say is that we've seen this country that we're in right now. We've already descended into a near fascism state when protesters with signs are called terrorists, and are being attacked by militarized vehicles, and old women with prayer sticks are being assaulted by police officers. 12-year-old kids are being murdered by police officers and not going to jail for it. We're ignoring climate change. It's gotten so bad that 4 years of Donald Trump making that stuff worse will be the fucking wake-up call that America needs to actually become the country that it's supposed to be, the great leader of how democracy should work.
Mm-hmm.
So it may get worse before it gets better, but like Martin Luther King said, and I might screw up the quote, so don't quote me on it. He said that the arc of justice bends slowly, or something like that. But the arc of time bends slowly towards justice, or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I screwed
Mm-hmm.
it up. I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what he meant. It will get there. It will good is coming, but it may get worse before it gets better, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Brian, for those sobering thoughts, but from for presenting somewhat of a silver lining, right? I mean, the truth of the matter is the work is always ours, and I think we forget that the work is ours to do.
Yes,
And this might
and
be
that's
the wake-up call that not only the Democrats or the left need, but we as human beings who are trying to have a world that is more sustainable and more loving and more joyful and less
yeah.
one motivated by fear.
I do want to just
Come on.
clarify that quote. Thank you, vegan sister. She says the arc of moral justice is long, but it bends towards justice.
Yeah. Thank you,
And
Brian.
that you last week you asked what we would like to see on this channel
Uh-huh.
more. Because I do have some expertise at this point. I'm good at politics. I've been able to. I don't know that I've been wrong. Maybe once I've been wrong, but for the most part in this election, I've been able to make really good, accurate predictions. So I can give that to people on the internet. What I'd like to see, I'm not necessarily as good at, and I think you are better at it, is I would like to see more information on grassroots movements and how to make an effective grassroots movement in
Okay.
America, because we need both of them. We need, like I was saying I said this in an interview with Marine, we need to organize first and then vote second, not just in our general election, also in a primary, also in local elections. We need to
Mm-hmm.
organize and vote both of them. So,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I am stronger on the electoral politics, I I that's where I'm best
Mm-hmm.
at devoting my energy. I think that I'd like to see more channels like say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is like let's do this. That's what
Okay.
I'd like to see more.
So presenting, I mean, pres first of all, I think presenting the folks who are doing the work, I think that's something that I definitely can do, and I definitely have enjoyed, for example, going to places like Common Bound and interviewing, half a dozen or more folks who were part of grassroots movements all over the country, and those are things that I just happen to be in those spaces, and I would love to be able to share more of that. Um, and those videos seem to be popular amongst the viewers as well. So I'd love to do that. I'd love to be able to provide that and share some of the work that's happening here in Detroit, but also stuff that's happening all around the country. So yeah, cool. Um, so that's it. That's bringing us to a close. I actually, speaking of grassroots movements, I actually have to go to a meeting where we're going to be discussing building a cooperative economy in Detroit. And so I have to get a move on, but thank you so much, Brian, and thanks to everyone who's contributed today. Thanks to all of you for watching again. This been gone. This has been gone for a while. So that said, and I feel like we could kind of go out together, but I think for me to shut down, to even see my button to stop broadcasting, I have to send you away, Brian. So peace to
Well, I
you.
just wanted to.
Come
I've
on.
never been able to do this. Can I just do this once?
Come on.
Everyone, love yourself. Peace.
That's it. We going out like that. Peace, y'all.